Hey everybody, Captain Blunder here, and welcome back to Plunder or Blunder, where we're going to keep talking about some squad arena team ideas that we want to help put us into the top 200 and hopefully begin pushing us into the top 100. So we're going to start off with the early game farm guide. Starting out, if you want Commander Luke Skywalker, and just be prepared, you're in for a long haul. It is quite the grind. It is quite the farm. There are so many characters to go through. We got to get the Phoenix Squadron so we can get Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn, and then get some other Empire characters together so we can unlock R2-D2, then farm all the Episode 4 Rebels so we can get Commander Luke Skywalker. But then we get to Commander Luke Skywalker, and what are we going to do with him? What was the overall plan? Well, the plan was, for this team, Commander Luke Skywalker in the lead with Han Solo, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and 3-Bacca, Chewie and 3PO. We need all these characters, and it is a grind, like I just said. We have to get 5 Phoenix characters, plus 5 Empire characters, plus the Episode 4 Rebels, that's another 5, so that's 15 characters right there to get Commander Luke Skywalker. But then it doesn't stop there, because if we want to get Chewbacca and C-3PO, we are going to have to beat Contact Protocol and the One Famous Wookiee event. That's another 10 characters right there, so that's 25 characters to farm to get this squad. 26 if you're also counting the 3-Bacca farm. So that's a lot of characters to get, so just be prepared that you're going to have to do a lot to get this team up and running and underway. And just looking at the team real quick, so we've got CLS in the lead, Han Solo, who we're going to get from doing the Heroic Pit, Chewbacca from the One Famous Wookiee event, and C-3PO from Contact Protocol, and then finally 3-Bacca, we're going to be able to farm him from Light Side 7A Hard, which is a 20 energy node. And if you want 3-Bacca, I recommend doing 3 refreshes on him a day. You got to do the most you can do to get the most shards you can out of this every day. But let's just start with One Famous Wookiee, Chewbacca. What is up with him? Why do we want him on the team? Well, skipping over the basic, there's nothing too exciting about the basic, but when we move into his specials, we start off with Pulverize, dispel all buffs on all enemies, then deal physical damage to all enemies. Chewbacca gains offense up and critical chance up for 2 turns, and this attack ignores defense. So already he is dispelling the entire team, and he is giving himself offense up and critical chance up for 2 turns. That's amazing. And ignoring defense. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Any ability that ignores defense is fantastic. And then we're going to go to Furious Bowcaster, his second special ability, deal physical damage to target enemy and stun for 1 turn. So fantastic, we're going to get to stun a character. Then, if the target has no protection, reset Pulverize's ability cooldown. This attack cannot be evaded. So we're going to be able to basically instantly refresh Pulverize using Furious Bowcaster and get a stun, which is amazing. And then Loyal Friend, this is an incredibly important mechanic, and this is it zetaed out. So at the start of the battle, grant guard to the weakest ally in Han Solo until Chewbacca is defeated. Chewbacca assists whenever a guarded ally uses an ability during the turn, doing 20% less damage, so he's doing 80% damage. Really good still. Limited once per turn. So if you have the Zeta on Han and he's shooting twice, Chewie's only going to shoot once with him, which is still great. When Chewbacca deals damage to an enemy, Chewbacca and all guarded allies recover 3% health and 3% protection. So even when you're calling him in, we're still going to get that 3% health and protection back. And the final ability of guard can't be critically hit and amused to daze and stun, and gets a 25% critical chance, which is so good. Loyal Friend is just an amazing ability to have for the Rebels teams. And then his final unique ability, Raging Wookiee, Chewbacca is immune to ability blocking cooldown increase. Amazing. If you can't manipulate his turn meter and he can't be ability blocked, there's nothing stopping him other than fear that will make him unable to take a turn. Also, by the way, this is zetaed out again. Of course, this is with the Zeta. When Chewbacca deals damage to an enemy, he deals bonus damage equal to 20% of their max health. When Chewbacca takes damage from an attack, he gains 25% offense and 25% critical chance until the end of his next turn. If he takes 4 hits during his turn, 100% offense, 100% critical chance until the end of his turn. When Chewbacca or a guarded ally takes damage from an attack, reduce Furious Bowcaster's cooldown by 1. So again, if we're getting Furious Bowcaster cooldown and Furious Bowcaster is going to cooldown Pulverize. He's just feeding himself these abilities. The cooldowns are going to keep on decreasing, and we're just going to be able to do specials all the time, and that is why we want Chewbacca. And if you want Chewbacca, then you're going to have to do the one famous Wookiee event, meaning you need 5 bounty hunters, and these are the 5 I would recommend: Bosk, Boba Fett, Jango Fett, Dengar, and IG-88. At Gear 12 Bosk, Gear 11 Boba or Dengar, and then Gear 10 everybody else, I was no problem able to get Chewbacca. But if you're still having trouble with it because it's a really difficult event, you want to put that event on easy mode, then I would recommend putting Grief Karga in instead of IG-88, or if you would rather, for whatever reason, you could put in the Mandalorian into that slot as well. Turn this thing into easy mode. So we've got the farm locations. Bosk is located at Darkside 9B hard at 20 energy. Nothing else exciting on that node. Boba Fett, very, very easy to farm. Darkside 2B hard for 12 energy. Darkside 4E hard for 12 energy. Also located in the Cantina store for 400 tokens. And the Fleet Arena store for 400 tokens. He comes up pretty often in there. Jango Fett is located on light side 8D hard, which is 20 energy, but it also comes with Houndstooth blueprint, so it's really hard to pass up that node. You'll get Jango Fett no problem and get the Houndstooth, so you could start getting ready for the Flight of the Falcon. Dengar is only located in the guild store for 450 tokens, but he comes up there pretty quickly, so it shouldn't take you very long, probably about 4 weeks, to get yourself a Dengar. And IG-88 is only available in the Squad Arena store for 400 tokens. But if you wanted to do the Grief Karga route instead, which I kind of recommend, if you can get to Fleet Battle 4C hard, you can start farming Grief Karga, and as a bonus, the Rebel Y-Wing is also on that node. So you're getting yourself an amazing Rebel ship ready to go, and also helping yourself make this event a little bit easier. And if you decide to get the Mandalorian for this event, he's located at Darkside 3C hard, so you can start getting him very early on at 12 energy, and he's also located on Fleet Battle 5E hard for 20 energy. But again, if you were going the Fleet Battle and you somehow made it to 5E, go for Grief. Just go for Grief, and don't make this more of a hassle than it needs to be. So we got this squad, and we looked at Chewbacca. Now we need to look at C-3PO and contact protocol, everything like that. So what is C-3PO doing for this squad? He has so many abilities, so many really good abilities. Starting with his basic Baffling Trick, C-3PO inflicts the unique buff Confuse for 3 turns, max 3 stacks, which can't be evaded or copied. If target is already confused, duration of the stacks resets to 3 turns. Reduce the target's turn meter by 6% and 3% more for each stack of translation on C-3PO. Confuse. Detrimental effects based on the cumulative number of stacks. Number 1, cannot gain buffs, so you're stopping a character from gaining any buffs. Number 2, cannot counter, assist, or gain bonus turn meter. Raid bosses minus 30% counter chance. So that's really, really good. Again, if we're stopping characters from countering and being able to be called in for assist and gaining bonus turn meter, oh man, we're really just setting ourselves up to take all the attacks before they can. In the third stack of Confuse, when this character uses their basic ability, increase their cooldowns by 1, which can't be resisted. Raid bosses minus 50% defense, which doesn't stack with defense down. So we're again increasing their cooldowns. If they have 3 stacks every time we put another Confuse onto them, they're just not going to be able to do their abilities. And then let's take a look at Protocol Droid, and what does Translation do? C-3PO has plus 20% speed, awesome. While C-3PO is active, Galactic Republic, Rebel, Resistance, and Ewok allies gain the unique buff Translation for 3 turns with a max of 3 stacks, each time they use a special ability. So every time they use a special ability, they're going to get Translation. Translation cannot be copied. If the character already has Translation, the duration for all current stacks on that character resets to 3 turns. When C-3PO is defeated, all stacks of Translation will expire. And what does Translation do? It gives beneficial effects based on the number of cumulative stacks you have. If you have 1 stack of Translation, you get plus 30% max health. At 2 stacks, gain 15% critical chance. Great. And 3 stacks, when C-3PO uses his basic ability, decrease the cooldown of this character's abilities by 1. So if everybody has 3 stacks of Translation and C-3PO uses Baffling Trick, everybody's cooldowns just went down 1. And again, characters like Chewbacca just feeding into the cooldowns and just forever getting special abilities. And then we get, oh my goodness, which is a special ability. C-3PO gains potency up and stealth for 2 turns. And he and target other ally gain translation for 3 turns. C-3PO inflicts confuse twice, so we're getting 2 confuses off, which is really good. Then calls all other allies with translation to assist, dealing 50% less damage. So again, we're stacking up translation on everybody as we're throwing down confuse. We're just taking away people's abilities, we're increasing their cooldowns while simultaneously decreasing ours and calling everybody in to assist. And his unique Fretful Mediator, all allies have plus 10% critical damage whenever a Resistance or Ewok ally uses a special ability. They inflict offense down on the target enemy for 2 turns, which cannot be evaded. For each stack of translation, Resistance allies have a plus 10% critical damage, doubled for Ewoks. So he really does help out with Resistance squads as well. And you could throw him with the Ewoks. I rarely ever see it, but you can do it if you want to. You make a little bit more defensive and stronger defensive squad for your murder bears. And then we have Intermediary. All allies have plus 10% defense penetration. Again, I've been saying this, anything with defense penetration, ignoring defense is amazing. Each time a Galactic Republic or Ewok ally gains a different non-unique non-protection buff, they gain 15% protection up for 2 turns, does not stack with itself. For each stack of translation, Galactic Republic allies have plus 10% defense penetration and doubled for Ewok. And so again, he fits in with the Galactic Republic as well as Ewoks, Rebels, and the Resistance. It's really, really good. And then we get Cyborg Relations. All allies have plus 10% potency whenever a Rebel or Ewok ally uses their basic ability. They inflict expose on the target enemy for 2 turns, which cannot be evaded. For each stack of translation, Rebel allies have plus 10% potency, doubled for Ewoks, which is awesome. So this is the biggest thing that we want. So we're getting more potency for our Rebels. So Han Solo's going to be able to stun better. He's going to be able to reduce turn meter with his basic more. Chewbacca is going to stun. CLS is going to remove turn meter by using the Force. R2-D2, if you're throwing him in this squad, is going to burn everybody up. He's going to stun them. It's just giving amazing bonuses to our Rebel team. And finally, wait for me, if you're running him with R2-D2, C-3PO and R2-D2 have plus 10% evasion for each of their own stacks of translation. At the start of the encounter, C-3PO and R2-D2 gain translation for 3 turns, so they automatically get a start with a stack of translation. When there are no other allied combatants, C-3PO escapes from battle, so if everybody dies, C-3PO is still on the field, he runs away, as he would. So that's why we want C-3PO. And what are we going to do to get C-3PO? Well, we have to complete the legendary event Contact Protocol, which means we need to get the Ewoks going. And honestly, this is the easiest team to do it with. Cheap Chirpa, Logray, Paplu, Wicket, and Ewok Elder will get you C-3PO, and you can farm these guys. You can farm all of them. Chief Chirpa is at Cantina Battle 5D for 12 energy, and again, it's ×2 shards, and you can also get him from the Forest Moon Assault Battle. Logray, unfortunately, you can only get from the Guild Store at 450 tokens, and if you're getting Dengar, then you might have to pick and choose which one you're doing first, but I would recommend you should go for Chewbacca first before you go for C-3PO. Then we get Paplu. He is at Cantina Battle 3D for 10 energy. He's also in the Guild Store for 450 tokens. And Wicket is located at Darkside 8A hard for 20 energy. And at that node, we also get stun guns, which is really good. It's a really, really good thing, and we can also get him from the Ewok event that comes out every month. And lastly, we have Ewok Elder, and you can get him at Lightside 2C hard, the Guild Store for 450 tokens, the Forest Moon Assault Battle, and he's available in the Bronzium pack, so you might get lucky and get a bunch of shards from him in the Bronzium pack. But we're also going to have to take the Ewoks to about gear 11 to get C-3PO. So you're going to have to prepare yourself for that, dropping at least 1 Zeta on Chief Chirpa. It's a really tough battle. It's a really tough battle, and you just have to prepare yourself for all this farming. So we have this squad, and the last one we want to look at is 3Baka, who's located at Lightside 7A hard for 20 energy. And why do we want 3PO and Chewbacca? Why do we want 3Baka? What is really good about him? Well, we're going to skip over the basic. The basic's nothing too exciting, but with his first special ability, Shining Distraction, dispel all debuffs on 3PO and Chewie. Great, so it's already they're just dispelling themselves. Rebel allies recover 15% protection and gain advantage for 2 turns, dispel all buffs from all enemies, and blind them for 2 turns. This ability can't be evaded, so if we're throwing out blind, that means they're going to miss their next attack. Rebels are gaining 15% of protection and advantage, so they're getting automatic crit hits for the next 2 turns. That's really good. And then his second special ability, Chewie's Rage, deal physical damage to all enemies, deal damage an additional time, up to 5 additional times, for each enemy that has been defeated during the battle. 3PO and Chewie gain 10% offense stacking until the end of the battle whenever this ability defeats an enemy. So there's no cap on it either. It's presumed that you're not going to get a ton of stacks, but if he's getting kills using that ability, he's just stacking his offense even further. And lastly, this is probably the biggest thing about 3Baka, is his unique I must tell the others. If the allied leader is a rebel, 3PO and Chewie gain 40% of the leader's max health, max protection, offense, defense, potency, and tenacity at the start of the first encounter. And rebel allies gain half that amount. Rebel allies have 15% critical avoidance. Okay, so if we have a CLS lead, we're getting all those buffs onto our 3Baka, and he's giving half that to all the other teammates. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. And they're getting 50% critical avoidance, so they're getting a higher chance to avoid critical hits. It's so good. And then, this is the big part. Whenever another rebel ally uses an ability, 3PO and Chewie are called to assist, dealing 30% less damage, limit once per turn. So literally, anytime anybody uses an ability, as long as they are a rebel, he is moving, he is shooting. It is so good. If they were defeated, 3PO and Chewie are revived with 50% health and protection whenever another rebel ally is revived. So really good. Really good. He's gonna come back. And while enemies are blinded, they have minus 50% tenacity and can't attack out of turn. So again, you're stopping them from being called in to assist. It's so good. It is so good. I can't recommend 3Baka enough. If you want to go for the CLS team as soon as you can, you need to start farming for 3Baka. If you're going for this team, you need to get CLS, Han, and Chewbacca at the very least. You have to. You can hold off on C-3PO for a little bit and 3Baka, but again, I think you should start farming 3Baka as soon as possible. So here's something else you could do. Let's say you just got CLS, and this is probably the first thing that you can do is CLS lead Han Solo, go for Chewbacca. You're gonna have to do the one famous Wookiee event, but it's not bad because then you'll have bounty hunters, which you can use in Rebel Roundup. They'll be great for your GAC. There's a couple reasons you want to have your bounty hunters, but you could throw Old Ben into the squad. I put the farming nodes down there. He's located at Cantina Battle 2B for 8 energy. He's in the guild store for 450 tokens. You can also get him in Rebel Roundup, but at this point you should have him at 7-star because you have to fight Darth Vader in Tier 5 of the CLS event. And then you could also throw in R2-D2. You're going to get him from the Daring Droid event anyway to get CLS, and if you throw the Zetas onto Number Crunch, he's going to be sharing a whole bunch of his bonuses, his buffs with the rest of the Rebel squad, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. Or let's say you do end up doing Contact Protocol, well, throw in C-3PO instead of Old Ben and run with CLS, Han Solo, Chewbacca, 3PO, and R2-D2, since we're going to get the stacks of translation for the both of them. But the last thing I thought of was, if you don't have 3Baka, you don't really want to move for him yet, what you could do is you need another solid Rebel tank. Think about farming Cara Dune. Cara Dune is a really solid Rebel tank. Let's take a look at her real quick. She's got some great abilities, even her basic. Barroom Brawler, deal physical damage to target enemy. If there is a Scoundrel ally in the leader slot, Cara Dune gains stealth until the end of her next turn. If there is a Rebel ally in the leader slot, Cara Dune loses stealth and gains taunt for 2 turns. So she is going to be a good tank for the Rebels. And then her first special ability, Improvised Strategy, Cara Dune gains potency up for 1 turn, then deals physical damage to all enemies and removes 50% of their turn meter. So anytime you're also removing turn meter, it's a great time. you should be removing turn meter whenever you can. If you have that option, remove that turn meter. And then finally, Empire enemies are stunned for 1 turn. So early on, probably going up against a lot of Empire, probably a lot of EP teams, Vader, things like that, you're going to get an automatic stun for her just being on the squad. And then she gets Infiltrator. While stealth, Cara Dune has plus 100% critical chance and plus 50% critical damage. When Cara Dune loses taunt, she gains stealth for 1 turn until the start of her next turn. So if we drop taunt, she's going to gain stealth, and then at the end of her next turn, she's going to unstealth, or she's going to taunt up again, whatever comes first. And lastly, X-Rebel Shock Trooper. This is the fully maxed out ability. Cara Dune gains critical hit immunity for 2 turns and plus 100% turn meter whenever an Empire enemy is defeated, and half that amount for non-Empire enemies. So even if you kill someone who's not an Empire character, you're going to get 50% turn meter for that. She's just going to keep moving. If Cara Dune has potency up when she is defeated, she is revived with 50% of her max health and gains potency up for 1 turn. So if you're running her with Rebels, there's a good chance that someone's going to pop potency up, or she's going to give herself potency up, and she's just going to revive and come back to the team. So there you go. There's a couple options. If you decide you really want to go for this Commander Luke Skywalker team, you got a couple options you can go with. Just be warned, be prepared for the farm. Like I said, it's 25 to 26 characters you have to farm for this entire build, and is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. This team will take you into the top 100 of your squad arena early on, no questions asked. It's going to be really tough, so you might want to try something else. And if you're on this road and you're realizing what a build this is and just how long it's going to take, look at this link up there somewhere, and we'll take you to the Empire build that I just constructed that should be really easy in early game and help take you into the top 200. And also, don't forget, just made a Discord. It's got all the fun things. We've got a mod bot in there. We're adding more things for territory battle strategy, for the Hoth, and for Geo. We're doing fun things. Squad Arena, all these builds are in. Actually, they're already in the Discord, so don't forget to join up for that, and don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to stay in tuned and informed for more fun Star Wars content coming down the pike from this channel. And so, hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun. I hope this is giving you some good ideas of what you can do for your squad arena. And until next time, everybody, cheers.